The Merriam-Webster dictionary defines perfection as the quality or state of being perfect, such as freedom from fault or defect. But what really catches my attention is the second definition it has for perfection. It states that perfection is an unsurpassable degree of accuracy or excellence. When we observe art, or more specifically in this case video games, we can recognize when something is pretty good. Hell, it's even better when that thing turns out to be really good and it offers experiences that push the boundaries of what's even possible with the medium. But despite our pattern recognition of good games, we are very hesitant to call something flawless, at least on a large scale. And I'm not here to say if Clair Obscur is a perfect video game or not. That's a topic for another video. Not only do I believe that this game was polished to a shine, I'm actually starting to believe it might be one of my all-time favorite video games I've ever played. At every step with this game, it continues to dismount some of my all-time favorites. It's slowly but surely creeping up to the #1 spot. And I haven't felt this way about a video game since I was a kid, and I didn't expect I could ever recapture that sense of awe ever again. How in the world does a game that I didn't even know existed until just a few days before its release managed to not only captivate me from beginning to end, but is also going down as an all-time favorite? I'm still trying to wrap my mind on how something like this is possible, but I'm very glad that it's happening. Clair Obscur asks, what would it be like to experience a painting that you can interact with? Something that immediately got me hooked was the gameplay and combat. If you've been living on a rock like me, then you might not know that Clair Obscur is a blend of turn-based combat and light ARPG elements. Now, before you leave your comments of what the F does that mean, L game, just take your hands off the keyboard and walk with me for a few. This unique style of combat feels so incredibly good to play. This game even has Call of Duty fans enjoying it. Like, do you know how difficult it is for a COD gamer to branch out and try a different game that isn't a first-person shooter? But Clair Obscur is really resonating with many players. A primary mechanic that sets this combat apart from other turn-based RPGs is the fact that you can defend against most attacks from enemies. You can either dodge, which is the easiest to perform, or you can also parry, which is a little more difficult, but you're able to unleash a counterattack on your enemy, which racks up some pretty nice damage and racks up their stun meter. Yes, this turn-based game has a stun meter and is wonderfully implemented. When you're performing these parries and counterattacks, you have to be locked in because several enemies use multi-attacks and feints to switch up their attack patterns. So if you mess up even once, you're gonna feel it.
Call an ambulance! But not for me!
Also, for my true gamers out there, check out these gaming accessories from HyperX, where they're looking for a new headset, a fresh microphone, keyboards, controllers, webcams, and much more. HyperX definitely has you covered. Just hit the link in the pinned comment and description for much more details. Also, a portion of any qualifying purchases goes right back into supporting the channel, so thank you in advance for any support. Now, this next feature is something that many people might not notice, but I really appreciate it. So I play games on PC and I primarily use mouse and keyboard a lot. So with this game, I decided to use controller. The controller feedback you feel in this game when you execute a well-timed parry or attack has to be studied for future use. It gives a nice shot of dopamine that lets players know that they've done some pretty cool shit. And I'll bet that many of you watching this video never even noticed the controller feedback, but you definitely will now. You're welcome. An aspect that really stakes out in Clair Obscur is the variety within its playable characters. Each character has been designed to have their own personality, and the voice actors for them have done an incredible job. In addition to having their own personality, each character also has their own unique attacks and playstyle. For example, Mael fights with a rapier, and depending on which stance she is in will help determine which moves get the most benefits from her attacks. While on the other hand, you have Sael, who uses cards to stack the deck against enemies. Quite literally. She can even go into an empowered state if you blended your attacks together in the right combination. And this is only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to exploring each character's kit. Since each character in the game has unique attacks and playstyles, gamers can experiment with different team comps and multiple playthroughs. This is the kind of shit I love in RPGs. And speaking of RPGs, Clair Obscur takes some of the classic attributes we're familiar with in this genre and adds some spice to them. For example, in many RPGs, a resource system is implemented so you can use your attacks, such as mana or magicka. The more powerful your attacks, the more of this resource gets utilized. To recover lost mana, typically you'd go to a central hub to fully heal your party, or you use consumable items to heal yourself or party members. The problem that myself and many gamers face is that we are hoarders, and we never use the consumable items as often as we should be. I can't tell you how many times my inventory will be absolutely stuffed with 99 stacks of health potions, antidotes, status cleansers, and much more. It's like I tell myself I might need these items later, so I better not use them right now. But oftentimes that critical moment just never arrives, and our backpacks are giving us the stank face because we can't take the time to live in the moment. Now, what if I told you that Clair Obscur fixes this resource issue in two ways? The first way it does it is through reusables. And reusables may or may not be a word I just made up, but walk with me here. You see, you get a certain amount of reusables or elixirs, but you can recharge them by resting at save points. You can also upgrade the amount of charges you can carry by locating rare crafting materials through exploring the game. If you're familiar with the Dark Souls series, it works in a similar way as the flash system within those games. But since Clair Obscur is a turn-based RPG, it operates a little differently while you're inside a battle versus outside a battle. While out of combat, the elixir fully heals your party, no questions asked until you run out of charges. Easy. But inside a battle, the elixirs only recover certain resources. There's one for health recovery, another one to revive a fallen ally, and there's a third one to recover your action points, or AP for short. And don't you worry, we'll cover AP shortly. It costs a turn to use one of these elixirs, so a little bit of planning is needed to use them effectively. It's balanced this way so you don't spam your elixirs and steamroll through your enemy encounters. Also, the in-battle elixirs can be recharged at a rest spot, so this greatly incentivizes players to use them as soon as the opportunity arises. No need to worry about hoarding resources anymore, and especially not having to worry about that quote-unquote next critical moment that may or may not even exist. The second way Clair Obscur addresses the resource problem is through its AP system. AP is used to deal out some of a character's most powerful attacks, similar to mana and magicka. The difference here is that mana is typically depleted and doesn't recover on its own without the use of consumables or some other resource, as in many RPGs. But in Clair Obscur, after winning a fight, your AP is always recharged to a minimal default. This means that players are free to express themselves in battles as often as they want without the fear of running out of gas. Now, I've played many turn-based RPGs throughout my life, to include Dragon Quest, Temtem, Pokemon, all the way to Digimon, Metaphor ReFantazio, Baldur's Gate 3, you name it. And I must say the AP system in Clair Obscur is by far my favorite, with second place going to Temtem's stamina system for attacks. My goodness, I had so much fun with that game. The point here is that Clair Obscur never takes his foot off the gas, and you, as the player, are rewarded by experimenting with different combinations of attacks without any of the downsides. And also, you can increase the amount of your AP minimum as well. This is done through the use of Pictos and Luminas. Pictos are items that you can equip to your characters, and each one provides wildly different stat boosts and passive benefits to a party member. What makes this system really great is the fact that after a certain amount of battles, the effects from Pictos can be converted into Lumina, which means that all of the characters can equip the passive effect if they have enough Lumina capacity for it. That's amazing. Do you now see how the possibilities can be near limitless? You can equip Luminas to tailor your playstyle or create new builds altogether. The way one player might min-max their characters will be completely different from the way someone else might build their characters. You can focus on heals, status effects, buffs, AP recovery, shields, and so much more with the Lumina system. And yes, you can also increase your maximum capacity for Luminas equipped as well. Also, I'd like to give a huge shout out to my first channel member, Bright Soldier. I truly appreciate the support, and if you would like to become a YouTube member and get access to exclusive perks like early access to videos and getting cool ass shout outs just like this one, then click the link in the description to become a member today. Now, what's a good character build system without some nice elements to use those fancy powers on? Clair Obscur has a wide cast of enemies throughout his gameplay. Encounters can range from just a few enemies to iconic clashes with monsters that will give the Titans from Attack on Titan a run for their money. Enemies also have affinities and weaknesses to certain elements, so players are rewarded for building strategies to help them overcome difficult challenges. And if you love to travel off the beaten path and explore every corner, then you're in luck here too. Clair Obscur has many optional and secret bosses scattered throughout the game. Your rewards for defeating these enemies can vary from rare crafting materials to powerful gear and weapons, and one of my favorites is customization options. You can customize the look and clothing of every member within your party. High fashion and unlocking your party's sense of style is the true end game. Being able to customize your party's look is something that I wish many more RPGs would accommodate. Within Clair Obscur, you even get to see the different weapons you have equipped as well. I hate when RPGs do not do this. Like, what's the point of getting this badass weapon but you're not able to actually see it during gameplay? And speaking of nice things to look at, the art design and graphical fidelity of this game is S tier. This game runs buttery smooth for me, and it looks absolutely amazing while doing it. Even though this should be the standard, you still see games that come from larger studios with extreme marketing budgets struggle to make their games even run at a steady frame rate. Throughout my entire playthrough, I have not encountered a single bug, a single glitch, a random crash, or anything of the sort to suggest that Clair Obscur is not a finished product. That $50 price tag buys you quality right out of the gate, while other publishers are trying to charge $80 or more for their quote-unquote experiences. Fuck off. I genuinely pondered if there were any issues with the performance of this game, so I took my dog on a walk, and for a solid 10 minutes or so, I tried to rack my brain to see if there's any graphical issues I may have missed while playing the game. I'm happy to report that the only thing that I could even remotely consider a quote-unquote bug is this one time when poor Mael seems to have gotten herself stuck on a piece of terrain. And something that combines all of the wonderful aspects of this game together is the story. It takes a lot for a video game to get me personally invested with their story, and Clair Obscur puts on a masterclass on how to deliver critical story elements without insulting the intelligence of their audience. To put this in perspective, I have not skipped a single cutscene within this game. Listen, do you know how crazy that is? Now, in most video games, I do enjoy a good story, okay? but sometimes I might skip a cutscene here or there, you know, just to get back into the action. No harm, no foul, right? But with Clair Obscur, their story beats and cutscenes have this aura about them that just draws you in. This game makes you care about the characters. It makes you care about the conflicts that it presents, and it leaves you wondering how you can help solve it. I know a lot of this might sound crazy, but just walk with me here. When you finally come across something that's simply amazing, you don't keep quiet about it. You show your appreciation for it, and maybe you'd share it to a friend so they can experience it also. It's no different than when you hear a really cool song on the radio and you share it to a friend who has a similar taste in music as you do. Everyone wins. Even if this game isn't your cup of tea, you can at least see that a large majority of this game's player base have nothing but praise for it. But I can definitely say that Clair Obscur has left an impact on those who played it, myself included. Another game that I've enjoyed recently is the Oblivion Remaster. Click here if you want to see my first 1 hour playthrough of the game. If you want to hear my thoughts on another all-time great, then here's a video of me discussing Pokemon Heart Gold. Yeah, it's that damn good. And I even have a video in which I attempt to get all of the achievements within BioShock. And now, with all of that out of the way, get out there and let's go play some freaking video games.